It was 3:30 in the afternoon. I stood in the shade of the fence surrounding Adventureland, watching my 6-year-old daughter, Mia, come skipping toward me. Her big eyes were shimmering with anxiety. "Daddy, the T-Rex ate Mommy," she said, her little face tense as she pointed to the towering dinosaur mascot a short distance away. I couldn't help but chuckle. "Silly girl, that's just an actor in a costume. Don't worry, he won't hurt Mommy." "No, Daddy." She tugged on my sleeve. I saw it with my own eyes. The T-Rex swallowed her in one bite. I ruffled her hair, thinking to myself that my little girl was starting to develop quite an imagination. "Okay, then Daddy will go rescue Mommy. You wait right here," I said, crouching down to make a solemn pact with her. The June sun was scorching, baking the asphalt until waves of heat radiated from the ground. I walked toward the ridiculously oversized, yet impressively detailed T-Rex costume. It was a new attraction at the park, nearly 10 feet tall, with enough room for 2 or 3 adults to move around inside. Kids loved getting their picture taken with it. I expected to see my wife, Claire, posing for a photo with the actor or maybe chatting about parenting. But as I got closer, I saw that the T-Rex's head was tilted at an odd angle. "Claire!" I called out. No response. I reached out and lifted off the T-Rex's head. In an instant, my world went blank. Inside the costume, my wife was locked in a passionate embrace with a strange man. Her legs were wrapped tightly around his waist, as if she were drowning in a sea of lust and couldn't pull herself away. My hand started to tremble. She must have heard my voice because she abruptly pushed the man away. "Ethan!" Her voice was laced with panic and trembled uncontrollably. The man scrambled out of the costume, smoothing down his clothes. He looked to be in his late 20s, with a meticulously styled side part. I recognized him. He was the host of a charity gala a couple of months back. Before the event started, Claire had specifically asked me to go backstage with her to say hello, introducing him as one of her cousins. Leo. Thinking back on it now, her enthusiasm, her deliberateness, it was all a performance to lower my guard. "I'm sorry." Claire climbed out of the costume, her makeup slightly smeared. I didn't say a word. The storm of emotions churning in my chest made it hard to breathe. 15 years. From falling in love in college to getting married and having a child, we had spent 15 years together. Right after graduation, my salary was only enough to rent a tiny studio apartment. Claire never complained. She brought me a homemade lunch every day, promising she'd stick with me through the struggle. I worked myself to the bone, clawing my way up to where I am now, all because I wanted to give her a better life. Now, I was finally a respected figure in the business world, an executive vice president at a major corporation. She no longer had to ride the bus with me or count every penny at the grocery store. And this was my reward. Finding her cheating on me with a man years younger than her, in a ridiculous dinosaur costume, at our daughter's favorite theme park. "Ethan, I know I messed up." She reached for my hand. I took a step back, avoiding her touch. "I should get going, Claire," Leo muttered, then turned and walked away quickly. "Coward." "Daddy, is Mommy okay?" Mia's voice called out from a distance. I took a deep breath and turned to walk back to my daughter. I couldn't lose control in front of her. "She's fine, sweetie. Mommy's coming right now," I said, forcing my voice to sound calm. Claire followed behind me, whispering a constant stream of apologies. I drove Mia to her grandmother's house. On the way, Claire sat in the passenger seat, stealing nervous glances at me. She knew how terrifying my silence could be. In the past, whenever I got this quiet, she would break down in tears. But this time, behind the panic in her eyes, there was a deeper layer of guilt. After dropping Mia off, I drove home. The entire way, she never stopped trying to explain. "Ethan, it was just a moment of weakness. I swear this was the first time. I'm so sorry." My knuckles were white from gripping the steering wheel. Every word she spoke was like a knife twisting in my gut. When we got home, she dropped to her knees in front of me, sobbing. "Ethan, please, just forgive me this once. I swear it will never happen again." I sat on the sofa, staring at the woman I had spent 15 years with. The gentle, devoted wife I remembered had become a complete stranger. She was still wearing the dress I bought her for our anniversary last year. She mentioned wanting it, and I bought it for her on the spot, no questions asked. Seeing her so happy made any price feel worth it. Now, It hit me that she had worn that very dress to go cheat on me with that pretty boy. You don't have to explain, I heard myself say. My voice was hoarse, as if it had been scorched by fire. Ethan, I'm tired. I need to be alone. I stood up and walked into my study. The moment the door closed, I lost it, slamming my fist into the wall. The crack of bone was sharp, but it couldn't drown out the pain in my heart. The next morning, I called my office and said I was taking a week off. My EA, Alex, was shocked. In the 5 years he'd worked for me, he'd never seen me take a sick day. Even with a 104-degree fever, I'd be on a conference call with a 4 on my arm. I packed a small bag. Claire was waiting by the front door. Her eyes were red and swollen. She clearly hadn't slept. Ethan, where are you going? To clear my head. Can I come with you, please? She begged. I want to talk this through. I shook my head. Right now, the sight of you makes me sick. Fresh tears streamed down her face. Her crying used to break my heart. Now it just filled me with disgust. I drove to a hotel in the suburbs. Lying on the bed, I started scrolling through the photos on my phone. Every single one was of our family of 3. The year Mia was born, we took so many pictures. Claire was still recovering from childbirth then, beautiful even without makeup. She held our daughter, grinning like a kid herself. I scrolled further back to our wedding photos. She looked like a princess in her white dress. I remember my hands shaking so badly, I was afraid I'd put the ring on crooked. The oldest photos were from college. I was wearing cheap, off-brand clothes back then, but she looked at me like I was the most handsome man in the world. We ate together in the dining hall, studied together in the library, and walked across the quad at night. Her smile was always so sweet. Back then, I swore to myself that I would spend my life making her happy. But now, she had destroyed all of it. All those memories that once moved me now felt like a cruel joke. I shut off my phone and opened my laptop. I started looking up Leo. 28 years old, a C-list personality. Besides hosting local TV spots, he occasionally landed minor roles in web series. His Instagram had about 200,000 followers. He often posted workout pictures and showed off designer bags and watches. I sneered. All bought with someone else's money, I bet. I looked up his upcoming schedule. He was slated to host the opening ceremony for a brand launch later this month. I noted the time and place, then closed the laptop. For the next few days, I did nothing but drink in my hotel room. Every time I got drunk, I dreamed of Claire. The Claire in my dreams was still the vibrant college student who would smile and call my name. But when I woke up, the only thing I could remember was the image of her tangled up with that man inside a dinosaur costume. My phone was filled with missed calls and texts from her. I didn't answer a single one. I needed time. On the 5th day, my mother called. Ethan, what's going on? Claire said you haven't been home in days. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Mom, I'm on a business trip out of state. Don't lie to me. Her voice sharpened. Your assistant said you took the week off. Did you and Claire have a fight? She's been crying every time I talk to her, and it breaks my heart to see her so upset. I stayed silent. Whatever it is, you need to talk it out. Don't just give her the silent treatment. You're both adults. Stop being so childish. I know, Mom. After hanging up, I stood by the window and stared into space. Claire was a master manipulator. For years, she had my parents wrapped around her finger, and they told everyone what a thoughtful, loving daughter-in-law she was. I opened my phone and read her texts. Ethan, I'm so sorry. I know I was wrong. Please come home. You don't have to forgive me. Just let me explain in person. I'm so sorry. I don't deserve you. I let out a bitter laugh at the last one. She finally got one thing right. She really didn't deserve me. A week later, I went home. Claire was in the kitchen, making soup. When she heard the door open, she rushed out to hug me. I sidestepped her and went straight upstairs. Ethan, I made your favorite chili, she called from downstairs. You've lost weight. Come down and have some. I went into my study and opened the safe. Inside were our marriage certificate and other important documents. I took out the certificate and tossed it onto the coffee table, then handed her a folder. Take a look and see if you have any issues. She opened the folder, and her face went deathly pale. It was a divorce agreement. Ethan, her hands were shaking. Please don't do this. If you have any issues with the terms, let me know, and I'll have my lawyer amend them, I said, my voice perfectly calm. The house and cars are mine. You get 10% of the savings. You'll have custody of Mia, and I'll pay child support. No, she threw the papers on the floor. I don't want a divorce. Why not? I sneered. Don't you like young, handsome men? You'll be free after the divorce. You've got it all wrong. She wrapped her arms around my waist, tears streaming down her face. Nothing happened between us. That day was just a stupid impulse. An impulse. I grabbed her wrist and shoved her away. So you think making out with another man inside a T-Rex costume at a theme park is normal? No. She knelt on the floor. I know I was wrong. Hit me, scream at me, do whatever you want, just don't divorce me. I looked down at her. She was in the exact same position she was in when she proposed to me. She had just finished grad school, and I had just started my first real job. She wanted to surprise me, so she decorated our favorite spot in the local park with balloons and roses. Then she got down on one knee, her face flushed, and asked, "Ethan, will you marry me?" I was so moved I couldn't speak. I just picked her up and spun her around and around. Looking at her now, the memory was nothing but a bitter irony. "Please, Ethan." She clung to my leg. "Give me one more chance." A chance? My voice was ice. "You threw your chance away." She tried to say more, but I had already turned and headed upstairs. "The papers are on the table. Sign them when you're done reading." That night, I slept in the guest room, listening to her muffled sobs from the master bedroom. I closed my eyes. The image from that day flashed in my mind again. Inside the T-Rex costume, she had willingly wrapped her arms around Leo's neck. As his hands roamed over her waist, she didn't push him away. Instead, she tightened her legs around him. My fists clenched so hard my knuckles cracked. The next day, I reviewed the security camera footage from our house for the past 6 months. Claire often said she was going shopping or meeting friends for coffee. She always left the house meticulously dressed and looking beautiful. Sometimes she'd be gone the entire day. Now I wondered, was she meeting that pretty boy every single time? I pulled her phone records. The call durations with Leo were longer than her calls with me. Sometimes late at night, she would sneak downstairs to make a call. Then I checked her bank statements. For the last 6 months, she had been regularly transferring the household money I gave her into another account, probably to buy him those designer bags and watches. The more I found, the angrier I got. Claire stood watch in the living room. "Go ahead, Ethan, look through everything," she said through her tears. "I swear, nothing physical ever happened with Leo. That day was the first time, and you got there before anything could." I shot her a cold look. "So you're saying if I hadn't shown up, you two would have just gone for it right there in the dinosaur costume?" She froze, and the tears fell faster. "No, I wasn't thinking." "Then what were you thinking?" I scoffed. "About how you were going to cheat on me." She threw herself at me. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I really am. Don't talk to me like that." I shoved her off. Disgusting. The word hit her like a dagger. She crumpled to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I ignored her and continued digging. Several times I felt the urge to just strangle her. But she wasn't worth it. A woman like her deserved a fate worse than death. For the next week, I went to work, attended my meetings, and acted like nothing had happened. Claire spent every day trying to win me over. She cooked for me, gave me shoulder rubs, laid out my clothes. I could feel her anxiety, her desperation. She knew my calmness was a bad sign. That weekend, I attended a brand launch. Leo was the host. He flinched when he saw me, but quickly recovered with a practiced, professional smile. "Mr. Thompson, good to see you." I smiled back and returned the greeting. Halfway through the event, I excused myself to go to the restroom. I ran into him in a quiet corridor. "Mr. Thompson." He kept his head down, trying to slip past me. I stopped him. "Tell me, Leo," I said casually, "is it a tight squeeze for 2 people inside a T-Rex costume?" The color drained from his face. Before he could answer, I continued, "I hope in the future you'll remember that some things and some people are off limits." I patted his shoulder. He bolted like a scared rabbit. When I got home, Claire was waiting up for me. "Ethan, where are you today?" I looked at her feigned concern and said, "I was at a brand launch. I saw Leo." Her body tensed. Did you talk to him?" "Not much. Just a little chat." I smiled. I think I might have scared him. Her expression turned grim. "Ethan, please don't go after him. This is my fault." You seem very concerned about him," I said coldly. She shook her head frantically. "No, it's not that. I just—" "Relax." I cut her off. "I'm not going to do anything to him. He's just a C-list personality. A man in my position doesn't need to bother with someone like him. She looked visibly relieved. So, she really did care about that pretty boy. Go to bed, I said, waving her off as I went upstairs and closed my door. I opened my laptop and stared at a photo of Leo. He had a smile as bright as the sun. You like to play games, do you? That night, I started to set my plan in motion. First, I had my PR team discreetly gather dirt on Leo. He looked clean on the surface, but his private life was a mess. Preying on college students, threatening fans, throwing tantrums, and mistreating production staff. Most importantly, he had a patron, a wealthy woman in her 40s named Isabel, the CEO of a cosmetics company. All of Leo's opportunities came from her pulling strings. I sneered. So he was a professional gigolo. The next day, I received a text. It was from Leo. Mr. Thompson, please, I'm begging you, leave me alone. I'll never do it again. I didn't reply. A moment later, another one came through. Whatever you want as compensation, I'll get it. I can get you cash right now. I blocked his number. Did this piece of trash really think he could buy me off? When I got home that evening, Claire was waiting by the door again. She had lost a lot of weight over the past few days and looked exhausted. Ethan, have you eaten? I made soup. I walked past her and went upstairs. She followed behind me. Please don't be like this. Yell at me, hit me, anything, just don't ignore me. Why don't you ask your little lover? I stopped on the stairs. He begged me to let him off the hook today. Even offered me money. How much do you think I should ask for? She froze. What? What money? Compensation, I said, turning to face her with a smirk. What do you think a wife is worth these days? Tears welled in her eyes. Ethan, don't say that. I know I was wrong. You know you were wrong? I scoffed. And so what? You want me to forgive you, to go back to being your loving husband? I regret it so much. She grabbed my arm. I'll do anything you ask. Just please don't divorce me. I shook her off. You're right. You do anything I ask. A flicker of hope appeared in her eyes. Then go kill yourself, I said, enunciating every word. She looked as if she'd been struck by lightning and collapsed onto the floor. I turned, walked into my study, and slammed the door. The next afternoon, I took a file to a coffee shop. A few minutes later, a lavishly dressed, middle-aged woman walked in. It was Leo's patron, Isabel. Mr. Thompson, I've heard so much about you, she said, gracefully taking a seat across from me. I pushed the file toward her. Please, take a look. She opened it, and her expression slowly soured. It was filled with all of Leo's dirty secrets, including intimate photos of the two of them. What is the meaning of this? She asked, closing the folder, her voice trembling slightly. Nothing. I took a sip of my coffee. I just wanted to have a chat about Leo. What do you want? What do I want? I laughed coldly. He seduced my wife. What do you think I want? Her face grew even darker. He seduced your wife. What? He didn't tell you. I took out my phone and played a video. It was the security footage from inside the T-Rex costume. I'd had someone pull it from the park's cameras. Isabel's hands were shaking. That bastard. So, what do you think should be done, Ms. Vance? She gritted her teeth. Don't worry. I'll take care of him. That's not enough, I said, putting my phone away. I want him ruined. I want him to never work in this town again. She was silent for a moment, then nodded. I understand. Leaving the coffee shop, I checked my watch. 7 p.m. Claire would be waiting at home again. Every day, for the past week, she'd cooked a full dinner and waited for me. I never touched a bite. Sometimes she would just sit at the table and cry until she fell asleep. In the morning, the food would still be there, cold and untouched. When I got home, she was, as expected, pacing in the living room. Ethan, where have you been? She asked timidly. Work. Did you eat? Yes. A look of disappointment crossed her face. I made your favorite pot roast. Throw it out, I said without looking at her. I have no appetite for anything you make. I could hear her start to cry behind me. I paid her no mind, went upstairs and took a shower. The next day, Leo's scandal erupted. Audio recordings and videos of him pressuring college students for sex were leaked online. Soon after, more stories came out about him verbally abusing production assistants. The internet went into a frenzy. Leo's management issued a statement claiming the accusations were baseless rumors. But that only opened the floodgates. More people came forward, claiming he used his patron's influence to bully everyone around him. Someone even exposed his relationship with a wealthy older woman, posting photos of them together. In an instant, he became a pariah. His endorsement deals were all terminated. His upcoming events were canceled. His talent agency quickly dropped him. The once glamorous personality was now an object of public scorn. Soon after, Leo posted a public apology on Twitter, saying he was young and foolish and made mistakes. He begged for a chance to change. The comments were a firestorm of hate. I watched it all unfold with a cold smile. This was just the beginning. That night, I came home to find Claire crying on the sofa. "You cry a lot these days," I said flatly. She looked up. "Ethan, are you doing this for revenge?" "Revenge for what?" "Leo." She bit her lip. "Did you do this?" I laughed. "Are you concerned about him?" "No." She shook her head frantically. Don't worry. This is only the beginning," I said, looking down at her. "You like him so much, don't you? Then you get to watch as I destroy him, piece by piece." She lunged forward and grabbed my legs. "Ethan, please let him go. This was my fault. Punish me." I kicked her away. "You're right. It is your fault. So don't think for a second you're getting off easy." She knelt on the floor, weeping. I stared at her coldly. "You should be grateful I'm letting you live." 0 for the next day, Leo's patron, Isabel, released a statement severing all ties with him, claiming she was merely an investor in some of his projects. Then she leaked even more damaging information about him. I heard Leo called her relentlessly, begging for mercy, but she was determined to crush him. After all, no woman likes to discover her plaything has been cheating on her. Following that, all of Leo's professional resources dried up. The people who had once promoted him now avoided him like the plague. I had my team quietly spread the word. Anyone who hired him would have to answer to me. A small-time personality like him was nothing in this industry. With a snap of my fingers, I could make him disappear. A week later, Leo posted one last thing on his Instagram. A single word, "sorry." Then, his account went silent. I heard he had gone back to his hometown to hide. Claire was a wreck. She cried every day. She must never have imagined my revenge would be this ruthless. But it wasn't enough. I wanted her to taste the same living hell she had put me through. I came home one day to find her packing a suitcase. "Where are you going?" I asked. She looked at me. I was thinking of staying at my mom's for a few days." "Don't bother." I walked over and started pulling her clothes out of the suitcase. "You're not going anywhere." "Why?" she asked, her eyes red. "You hate me so much. Why won't you let me leave?" "Because I want you to have a front row seat," I said, grabbing her chin. "I want you to watch how I'm going to ruin your little lover." She whimpered, shaking her head. "Don't. Please let him go." "You care about him that much?" I tightened my grip. "Tell me, are you in love with him?" "No." Tears streamed down her face from the pain. "It was a mistake. I love you." I sneered. "Oh, really? Then why didn't you beg Leo to leave me alone?" She was stunned into silence. "Do you have any idea," I said, my voice low and dangerous, "that when I saw you two in that costume, I wanted to tear you both apart? 15 years of my life gone because of you." She broke down completely. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong." "If sorry fixed everything, we wouldn't need laws," I said, releasing her. "You made your bed. Now lie in it." With that, I went upstairs and slammed the door, leaving her to her gasping sobs. That night, I had a dream. In it, Claire was still that bright-eyed college girl in a white sundress, smiling at me. "Ethan," she asked, "do you think we'll be together forever?" "Of course," I said. "I'm never letting you go." She threw her arms around me. "You promise?" I woke up to a damp pillow. I hated myself for being so weak. Even after everything, I could still remember the good times. The next day, I received an email from a private investigator. It contained a detailed report of Claire's movements for the past 6 months. She had met with Leo almost every week, sometimes at a coffee shop, sometimes at the mall, and sometimes at a hotel. My hands trembled as I stared at the photos. There she was, wearing a dress I bought for her, following Leo into a hotel. They were inside for the entire afternoon. I smashed my laptop against the wall. That bitch. She had the audacity to lie to my face and say it was a one-time impulse. They had been carrying on for months. When I got home that night, I threw the pictures in her face. "Explain this." She looked at the photos and froze. It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I sneered. "Did you go to a hotel to have a book club meeting?" She dropped to her knees. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Is that the only thing you know how to say? I grabbed a handful of her hair, yanking her head back. You lying bitch, I want to kill you. She cried out in pain. Ethan, please let me explain. Explain what? I threw her to the ground. Explain how you cheated on me behind my back. She covered her face, sobbing. We didn't do anything. We just talked. You need a hotel room to talk. I laughed cruelly. Do I look like an idiot? It's true. She grabbed my leg. I swear, I never slept with him. I kick her away. Do your promises mean anything anymore? She scrambled back toward me. Ethan, hit me, scream at me. I don't care, I know I was wrong. I looked down at her pathetic display and suddenly smiled. All right. She paused, confused. What? You said I could hit you, right? I loomed over her. Then get on your knees and slap yourself. She bit her lip, then raised a hand and slapped her own face. Harder, I commanded. I want the whole neighborhood to hear it. She struck herself again and again, her cheek turning red and swollen. And you say you love me? I scoffed. A whore is a whore. She cried like her heart was breaking. Ethan, I do love you. I just made a terrible mistake. Shut up. I roared. If you loved me, you never would have done this. She collapsed on the floor in a heap of tears. I turned, went upstairs, and slammed the door. That night, she cried on the living room floor until dawn. The next morning, her eyes were swollen shut. A dark handprint was visible on her cheek. When she saw me coming downstairs, she immediately knelt again. Ethan, get out of my way. She didn't give up. I really know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. I stared at her. You know, right now, the sight of you just makes me want to vomit. Her tears started again. Are you done crying? I sneered. It's useless. I will never forgive you. Then why won't you divorce me? She looked up at me. Why are you torturing me like this? Because I want you to suffer, I said, enunciating every word. Just like you made me suffer. Then just kill me, she wept. Kill me, and it will all be over. You think your death would bring me peace? I crouched down to look her in the eye. Death would be too easy for you. She shuddered. Don't worry, I won't let you die, I said, standing up. You're going to stay alive and watch how I punish both of you. With that, I left for work. On the way, I got a call from the PI. He said Leo had been trying to contact his old patron, Isabel, begging her to give him a second chance. I laughed. A little too late for that, wasn't it? When I got home, Claire was mopping the floor. As soon as she saw me, she got on her knees. Ethan, do you just enjoy kneeling? I scoffed. Why don't you go kneel for your little lover? She shook her head, crying. Don't say that. I know I was wrong. Wrong. I looked at her. Do you even know what you did wrong? I shouldn't have betrayed you. She sobbed. I failed you. You fail more than just me. I crouched down. Did you ever think about the little girl who calls you mommy? She froze. Do you know that on that day, she really thought the T-Rex ate you? I sneered. How ironic. You were in a costume getting felled up by some stranger while your daughter was terrified for your safety. She covered her face, her shoulders shaking with sobs. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. When you say you're sorry, do you ever think about her? I grabbed her wrist. She trusted you. She worshipped you. And this is how you repay her. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Pathetic, I said, pushing her away. You don't even deserve to be a mother. She curled into a ball on the floor, weeping like a child. I went upstairs and shut the door, listening to her repeating, I'm sorry, over and over again downstairs. That night, I had a nightmare. I dreamed Claire and Leo were in the T-Rex costume again. I tried to run toward them, to rip them apart, but my legs wouldn't move. I woke up drenched in cold sweat. I had been having that same dream for weeks. Each time, it drove me closer to the edge. 05 a month later, things took a new turn. I got a text from Leo's former agent. He said Leo wasn't doing well, drinking heavily. He'd apparently caused a scene at a bar, threatening to expose secrets about others in the industry. I smirked. A corner dog, doing nothing but barking. A few days later, he managed to get in touch with Claire, calling her when I wasn't home. He told her he wanted to see her one last time. If I hadn't installed monitoring software on her phone, I would have never known what that bitch was up to. She didn't dare answer his calls. But I knew that every time his name lit up her screen, she would cry in secret. She felt sorry for him. The woman was truly rotten to the core. I came home from work one evening to find her packing up Mia's old toys. Seeing me, she immediately stood up. Ethan, what are you doing? I was going to donate these to the children's hospital, she said, her head bowed. Mia said she's too old for them now. I glanced at the toys on the floor. A few of them I had bought for Mia myself. Among them was a small T-Rex. She had begged me for it on her last birthday after seeing Jurassic Park, saying how cool she thought it was. Now, the sight of it just made me sick. Get rid of them, I said, turning to go upstairs. They're an eyesore. From behind me, she asked softly, Ethan, are you still angry? I stopped. What do you think? I know I was wrong. Her voice cracked. Can you just give me one chance? I turned around. A chance? Do you deserve one? She fell to her knees. Ethan, hit me, scream at me. Just don't treat me like this. And how do you want me to treat you? I sneered. Spoil you like I used to? So you can find another man to cheat on me with. I won't. She grabbed my leg. I swear I'll never do it again. Your promises are worth less than air, I said, kicking her away. Do you really think I'd ever believe a whore like you? She collapsed on the floor, sobbing. I ignored her, went upstairs, and closed my door. The next morning, I got a text. Leo had gotten drunk again last night. He was shouting at a bar that he was going to kill me. I laughed coldly. A pathetic loser like him thought he could kill me? Around noon, my mother-in-law called. She said Claire was at her house, crying nonstop, and asked if we had a fight. It's nothing, I said flatly. She's just being overly dramatic. Don't be so hard on her, my mother-in-law sighed. Claire has lost so much weight. You need to take care of her. I hung up and sent Claire a text. Get back here. Now. It wasn't long before she returned. The moment she walked in, she knelt before me. Ethan, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see my parents. See your parents? I scoffed. Or were you planning to move back in with them? No, she explained frantically. Forget about it, I said, looking down at her. You're not going anywhere unless I say so. She bit her lip. How long are you going to keep me locked up here? Until I feel like letting you go. And when will you forgive me? She asked, crying. I was silent for a moment. The day you die. She trembled. You know, I crouched down to look her in the eyes. I have nightmares every single night. I see you too in that costume. Stop it. She covered her ears. Why should I? I pulled her hands away. You seem to be enjoying yourself. When you had your legs wrapped around his waist, did you think of me even for a second? She was hysterical. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Your apologies are like a knife in my heart. I let go of her, but even that is nothing compared to the pain you've caused me. Her crying intensified. I went upstairs. You brought this on yourself. That evening, I got a call from a bar owner. He said Leo was drunk and causing trouble, threatening to kill me. Let him sober up in a jail cell, I said coldly. I hung up and opened my laptop, pulling up the PI's latest report on Leo. The guy spent every day getting drunk at bars. Sometimes he'd rant at a photo of me on his phone, pitiful and pathetic. The next morning, Claire knocked on my door. Ethan, can you please let Leo go? I opened the door and stared at her. You're still worried about him? She looked at the floor. No, I just think he's suffered enough. Suffered enough? I scoffed. So you think I've gone too far? I didn't mean that. Yes, you did, I said, grabbing her chin. You feel sorry for him, don't you? You think this is all my fault. She cried out in pain. No, it's all my fault. Since you know it's your fault, shut your mouth. I let go of her, or I'll deal with you both. She stumbled back in fear. I closed the door and called a private investigator. Keep a close eye on Leo. Don't let him do anything stupid. Don't worry, Mr. Thompson, the PI said. We're on him. After hanging up, I got another text. It was from Leo's ex-agent again. He said Leo had become unstable, like a different person, constantly talking about getting revenge on me. I sneered, as if he had what it takes. When I got home, Claire was busy in the kitchen. She saw me and immediately brought out a bowl of noodles. Ethan, please eat something. I didn't even look at it. Throw it out. Please, just one bite. She begged, her eyes red. You've gotten so thin. You've noticed I'm thin. I sneered. Why don't you go worry about your little lover? I hear he's not doing so well. She bit her lip. I'm not worried about him. Aren't you? I stared at her. Then why did you ask me to let him go? I was just what? I moved closer to her. Tell me, are you still in love with him? No. She shook her head. I love you. You love me? I scoffed. If you really loved me, would you have done what you did? She dropped to her knees. I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. I'm tired of your apologies, I said, heading upstairs. Reflect on what you've done. 06 a week later, a package arrived for me. It was a letter from Leo. Mr. Thompson, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. But please, can you just let me go? I have nothing left. I tore the letter to shreds. Who did this trash think he was? Writing to me. When I got home from work, Claire was waiting in the living room. Ethan, she said timidly, I need to talk to you. Talk. I want to see Mia. No. Why? Her eyes turned red. I'm her mother. Mother. I sneered. Do you think you deserve to be called that? She fell to her knees. Please, just let me see her. What right do you have to see her? I looked down at her. How am I supposed to explain it to her? That her mother is a worthless whore? She broke down. Don't say that. I know I was wrong. If you know you were wrong, then stay put, I said, heading upstairs. You will never see her again. After I closed the door, I could hear her crying downstairs. It sounded like a child's wail. I scoffed. So now you feel the pain? Why didn't you think about the consequences when you were fooling around in that dinosaur costume? The next morning, I got a call from a PI. Leo had gotten drunk again last night, causing a scene at a bar, screaming that he was going to kill himself for me to see. Let him, I said coldly. He's a waste of space anyway. I hung up and opened my laptop, reviewing the files I collected. Leo was completely finished. No connections, no resources. He'd even sold his apartment. Now he just drank to numb the pain. He had brought this all on himself. Around noon, Claire knocked on my door again. Ethan, have you eaten? Get lost. I made you some soup. Her voice was thick with tears. Can you just try a little? I threw the door open. Are you a masochist? She froze. I made myself perfectly clear. Why do you keep trying? I sneered. Do you think this will make me forgive you? She knelt. Ethan, I know I was wrong. Hit me, scream at me, anything. You like being hit, do you? I crouched down to her level. Why don't you go find your little lover? He could probably use a punching bag right now. She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. Don't say that. I just want to make it up to you. Make it up to me. I scoffed. With what? Your body. It's already been tainted. She covered her face and sobbed. I slammed the door in her face. That night, the bar owner called again. Leo was back. This time, he had a knife. He was screaming that he was going to kill me. Call the police, I said calmly. Let him rot in prison. I hung up and opened the window. A heavy rain was falling outside. The sound was loud, but I could still hear the crying from downstairs. Claire was at it again. Was crying the only thing this woman knew how to do? I smirked. Cry. The more miserable she was, the better I felt. The next morning, I got a text. Leo had been arrested for drunk and disorderly conduct and making death threats. I called the PI. Get a lawyer. I want him charged with making terroristic threats. Understood, the PI replied. But Mr. Thompson, he's already hit rock bottom. It's not enough, I said coldly. Let him do some serious reflection behind bars. I hung up and looked out the window. The rain was still coming down. Claire had fallen asleep on the sofa, curled into a ball. Her eyes were red and puffy from crying. I walked over and looked down at her. There was a time when I couldn't bear to see her cry. I would have given her the world to make her happy. But now, all I wanted was to see her in agony. Suddenly, she murmured in her sleep, Ethan, I'm sorry. I sneered, apologizing even in her dreams. Did she really think that would make me forgive her? The doorbell rang. I opened it to find my mother-in-law. Ethan, Mom, where's Claire? She asked, looking past me. Sleeping. That girl, she sighed. She's so thin. What on earth is going on between you two? I said nothing. I know couples have their problems, she said, taking my hand. But for Mia's sake, you have to be more patient. Claire has always been sensitive. You're the most important person in the world to her. I laughed internally. Important to her? Then why did she betray me? Seeing my silence, my mother-in-law sighed again. Fine. I'll just check on her and go. I know better than to meddle in your affairs. She walked in and saw Claire on the sofa. Oh, my poor girl, she said, stroking her daughter's face. She looks terrible. I went upstairs. I had no interest in watching this fake display of mother-daughter affection. That evening, after her mother left, Claire knelt before me. Ethan, my mom said I should go stay with her for a few days. You dare, I said coldly. Why, she cried. You hate me so much. Why won't you let me leave? Because I want you to suffer. I crouched down, looking her in the eyes. Just like you made me suffer. She trembled. How long are you going to do this to me? Until I decide I'm done. She bit her lip. You're never going to forgive me, are you? What do you think? Suddenly, she stood up and ran toward the kitchen. I grabbed her. What do you think you're doing? I want to die. She sobbed. Let me go. Just let me die. You think dying solves everything? I threw her to the floor. Death would be getting off easy. She curled up on the ground, weeping. Stay alive, I said coldly, and watch how I destroy your precious lover. With that, I went upstairs and closed the door, the sound of her heart-wrenching sobs echoing from below. In the middle of the night, the phone woke me. It was the police. Leo had tried to hang himself in his holding cell. A guard found him, and he was rushed to the hospital. He was currently in critical condition. I sneered. The coward couldn't even get dying right. The next morning, Claire knocked on my door. Ethan, Leo, What? You feel sorry for him. I opened the door and stared down at her. She knelt. Please, just let him go. He's suffered enough. You really care about him, don't you? I crouched down and grabbed her chin. Why don't you go join him? She cried out in pain. No, Just what? I tightened my grip. Tell me, are you still in love with him? No. She shook her head. I love you. Oh, really? I scoffed. Then why don't you go die for me and prove it? She shuddered. What? You don't have the guts. I let her go. Then shut your mouth. If you want to beg for his life, you should first consider whether you're even worthy. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing. I turned and closed the door. Enjoy the feeling. This is just the beginning. 07. A month later, Leo escaped from the hospital. He went to Claire's parents' house with a knife. He was screaming that he was going to kill Claire. He said it was all her fault. If she hadn't seduced him, his life wouldn't be ruined. In the end, he stabbed her 17 times. She died at the scene. Leo was shot and killed by the police who responded to the call. I was in a board meeting when I got the news. I just smiled faintly. Meeting adjourned. When I got home, the house was empty and silent. It felt strange. This place used to be so full of her. Now, there was only a dead quiet. But this was good. It was clean. I opened the safe. Our wedding photo was still inside. In the picture, she was wearing her white dress, her smile radiant. I sneered. Then, I tore the photograph into tiny pieces and threw them in the trash. A new life was beginning.